The full name is Neo-Linguistic Programming Trainer since 2003. He's also very experienced in Toastmasters, and he is currently a member of 5 Toastmaster clubs. His charm and humor impress many ladies, as well as gentlemen. Without further delay, let's welcome Talis Wong, DTM, Match with the Mismatch.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Actually, of course, I want to thank Alec for introducing me. At the same time, I reminded him to mention one very important point. That among the 3 things, being Toastmaster for 22 years, government for 30 years, and trainer for 10 years, they actually have a lot of overlap. So in a way, I'm still in my teens, if I can say. Right, the very first thing is that I was actually under very high pressure as I see your people coming in. And I think I made the right decision at the beginning of recommending the organizing committee not to charge any entry fee, because handling refund is quite a big problem. Right, so tonight I'd like to share with you the making of humorous speech, meaning that what I really want to achieve in that half an hour is to give you no excuse of not taking part in the upcoming humorous speech contest. Okay? Would that be okay? Alright? Alright. Now, so the title is Matching the Mismatch. If I may share one little story with you first. Look at me, don't forget about this. It's about my experience, is this LVMH. You know LVMH, one of the very luxurious brands in Hong Kong. So I was able to listen to some of their kind of in-house customer service review. And they say there was a case, a customer came up to one of the very prestigious shops in Jinzhade. And that guy was very impressed with a particular bag, and he asked the bag to be, could you check this out for me? I would like to have this bag. And the shopkeeper went in, he came out and said, sorry, we have no stock. The lady said to the customer. And the customer said, all right, okay, that one's okay. Can I have this one? Can I just have this one? The guy said, can I have just this one? I'm fine with this one. Then the shopkeeper said, I'm sorry, that one is not for sale. And the guy said, what? Hey, it's right there, and I'm okay with it. How come it's not for sale? And the lady said, well, I'm here too. Even if you're okay, I'm not for sale. Alright, so you laugh. Why you laugh? Because there is some interesting thing happened here. There's a mismatch, right? The lady and the LV bag, despite the two have some similarities. So what I'm going to do, so the key to humor, if I may continue with my workshop. I think I'm not alone. I do remember when Donald Yee was delivering his workshop, something happened the same. So Donald is BS for almost half an hour. So I think I'm lucky in him. Anyway, so this mismatch is the key to humor. If you are able to find the little mismatch, if I may share one more with you. So matching the mismatch, right? So I'll show you one more example. This one is very easy. That is a woman, a kind of a woman philosopher. She said something like that. The more we know men, this is what she says, the more we love dogs. Alright, take you like this one. So it's a mismatch in another sense, which means the key to humor is that if we are able, this is from Mark Twain. Mark Twain says that it's kind of a sudden marriage of ideas that before their union they were not perceived to have any relationship. Once you can do that, you're able to evoke humor. Okay? Would that be something for you, right? Now, here we go. The next thing is is humor equals joke? What would you say? Is humor equals joke? No. So what exactly is joke? Joke obviously involves laughter, right? So if it's a good joke, then the audience laugh. If it's a bad joke, the audience still laugh at the speaker, right? So a good joke is a good joke. If a good joke is a bad joke, then the speaker is a joke. So this is a joke. But for humor, it doesn't happen that way. For humor, there may be people who laugh, and there are people who will not laugh because they don't understand. So they may laugh the day after. The morning they wake up and they find, oh, they don't understand. They laugh. All right? And there may be people who will never laugh because they might have already forgotten the humor. All right? Okay, so this is humor and joke, right? So humor, how would I like to do the mismatching or the matching with humor with something? So I was thinking about this sudden marriage. Perhaps I would like to match humor and marriage. Would that be okay for you? Humor and marriage. You probably say, Talis, about marriage? No way! This is the biggest mismatch, right? So anyway, it doesn't matter. This is the humor and marriage. And here it goes. By the way, marriage is not a joke, right? You agree? Okay. Now, here it is. We say the role of good marriage is long and twisting. You agree? For those who are married. You agree with that? David?
Yes.
Alright, yeah, fair enough. Yeah. So we say in humor is about longing for a twist. So what exactly is a twist? A twist is something that you do not really expect, right? It's kind of always is a mismatch. Now, think about it. There are always that sort of interesting thing happen in people's life. And I seem to be the one who always bump into that. I give you one very simple encounter I had. On a very uneventful day, a lady came to me. I was very kind of saying her, okay, I see you later. Such a very casual remark, right? You always say that to people, right? I was saying, okay, see you later. And you know what her response was? Her response was, what time? What time? And I was stuck, I was speechless, despite I've been Toastmaster for so many years. I really don't know how to respond, because whatever I'm going to respond, I'm going to break her heart, right? What time? So afterwards, I talked with friends in Toastmasters. They gave me a very good kind of advice. They said, next time. You say, next time. What time? Next time. So this is what we call twist. Twist means that something you really do not expect things to happen that way. And it goes back to the time when we have the best humorous speaker in Achievers. One of them, you all know Donald Yee, right? His one of the speeches about all this twist. What he said is he's working this China-like power plant in Tumor. And he said this cafeteria is such a bad place that, you know, if you leave anything behind, people will grab it almost immediately. So he said one time, he left a very cheap kind of ball pen on the table. And he's such a forgetful person, and he left and thought, oh, I forgot my pen. He went back and got, right? All right, and then he said, the next day, he forgot a kind of notepad, a very kind of cheap notepad. And he went away and thought, oh, I forgot my notepad. He went back, the notepad was gone. Then the third day, he left the Toastmasters magazine on the table. And he went out and said, oh, I forgot my Toastmasters. He went back, the Toastmasters magazine is still there. So you see, this is how we kind of using this twist to create the so-called humor. And tonight, the chairman, Bernie, where are you? Yeah, right over. Bernie delivered one of the most brilliant humorous speech, and I still remember that was way back some years back. And what she did was, I really want to thank my mom and dad for gifting me with the intelligence. So although her hand is really telling us about something else, right? But then she was telling us about the intelligence at the end. So this is all about the twist and derailment. Got it? Okay? So if we really want to prepare a humorous speech, the very first thing is look for those interesting things that would be able to derail people. And I would say all this about twist and mismatch, we're talking about misleading people, right? When Bernie is doing that, she was misleading us to think of something else. At the end, she was saying intelligent, right? So misleading is one of the training in Toastmaster. Toastmaster is about communication and leadership training. So just becoming communication and misleadership training. Would that be fine with you? All right, so this is it. So it's all about the twist. You get it? All right, so this is the fundamental thing. Now the second thing is obviously that we need to talk about something that we can associate. Meaning here, we say marriage, stick to one that never pick up whoever comes along. So be a faithful whoever, husband or wife, right? But it says that in humor, pick up whatever comes along. Now this is important. Whatever comes along means what? Something that happened in your life. Something that can be good material for humor. Okay? Way back in February, I was in Beijing. I finished the training. I came back to Hong Kong, and it was very cold. I was wearing this leather jacket. And I went through the security, and the light stopped and beep. So, here comes the security officer. She happened to be a lady. She said, look at me and, 打开 means open, open, unbutton your leather jacket. And while was she saying that, she had that kind of gesture, 打开 And then immediately, of course, I immediately opened my jacket, and her hands was on me, like that, really in Beijing, huh? And then, when she's using the kind of detector on my body as well, and it comes to the belt, obviously, the detector will be kind of beep, 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 like that, and her hands is all the way along those. So, I mean, this sort of interesting experience on you may be the best material for your humorous speech workshop. Now, if that one is a bit too much, I have another one. On Mother's Day, I jumped onto a red minibus. I jumped onto it, I thought there would be a seat for me, but then the driver sat at the back. So there was no legal seat, there were 14, 16 seats on the minibus. But there is one, additional one, the legal one, in between the last row, between the Hong Kong minibus, right? So that one is a movable one. So I was sitting there, and next to me on two sides were two kind of guys wearing this sleeveless vest. So, like that. And then as the minibus was negotiating bends, I was either moving towards the guy on my left or moving towards on the right. So touching them, skin to skin. And on this little music inside the minibus, the song was Changing Partners. And I was holding this kind of takeaway. It's a kind of a soup with a rice with fish soup there. And obviously I was too kind of cautious of not to having too much kind of touching with these two guys. I didn't realize that the fish soup was on my pants. So I wet my pants. Now, all these interesting experiences are very useful for humorous speech. You agree? Okay? So it's a matter of writing it down. If anything happened to you, on a daily basis, there are lots of useful experiences. Now, tonight I came in, I was greeting to Kathy. And Kathy, a little problem with her eye, I was so kind to ask her, so sweet, and said to her, Kathy, how's your eye? And she said, you're handsome. Then I said, right, obviously you have perfect vision. So make use of all these little incidences to help you to come up with the best humorous material. And Jim is over there, right? Did you see Jim? He has a very special look tonight, right? Oh yeah? And he said, he sent me a picture beforehand. Very kind. And said, Talis, the way I look, will I distract you during your workshop? So considerate, right? And I said, Jim, rest assured, there are more distracting objects in the room. You're way down on the list. So it demands a little bit of how you enjoy life, it's demand a little bit of you going a bit indirect in the response and things like that, and create this little, I said, space for imagination, and you're able to create the humor you need it for your speech. Now, so far so good, right? Okay, so the second thing is about association, something. Oh, by the way, this is the divorce lawyer's business card. I like that one very much. So this is all about association. Very, very talented, right? And of course, while we're talking about lawyers, now the third thing is about imagination. Because in humor is almost like dissecting a frog. If you try to explain what it is, it's almost like dissecting a frog. The thing dies in between. So make sure we leave things to people to come up with the final answer. And on that, obviously, the way you deliver your humorous speech would be to only say what is necessary and leave the rest to their own imagination. All right? So in humor, you need that imagination too. Now, I think there are many such good examples which you can make reference to, and you say, so I'm going to be a copycat. I'll give you one example. One of it is, I'm talking about lawyers. They say lawyers will do everything to win the case, including telling the truth. But think about it. You're not getting it?
Yes.
Do I have to say it again? So lawyers, are there any lawyers here? They're not here tonight. Good. So lawyers will do everything to win a case, including telling the truth. I really like this one. So if you're not laughing, you may be laughing tomorrow morning. Or you will never laugh again. It doesn't matter. Many other such examples. There's another one from, I think it's from Oscar Wilde. He said, I'm not young enough to know everything. I like this one too. Now, if you think this is too deep for you, what kind of humor is it? It's so kind of difficult to understand. Then don't do it, right? Otherwise, if you can leave room for imagination to people, that would be really, really powerful. Okay? Do not really need to say everything. Now, okay, this is imagination. Oh, by the way, she is my mentor. She is my teacher in the neuro-linguistic programming. Her name is Judith Lotion, a very lovely lady, and she had wonderful comments on me. One of the comments she said was, Talis, if I'm 20 years younger, you will be in trouble. This is what she said. So again, very subtle, right? You don't need to kind of elaborate too much. So it's about leaving something to imagination. All right, so this is it. Imagination. And obviously, in humor, if you're not too sure how to handle it, the best thing would be that we play with words. Playing with words is one of the best way and most effective way of making your humor work. Okay? Now, I'll give you some example. I was reading something on, this day if you still have to wait in the line for something, whatever, ticket, whatever, right? They say it's very good that you date while you wait. So also date means dating, right? Date while you wait. All these are very interesting words that come together will make people would laugh. Interesting. You don't laugh, okay. Another one is that we were describing our ex-chief executive, Tong Ji-hwan, and people were saying that in his left brain there's nothing left. Oh no, in his right brain there's nothing left. In his right brain there's nothing left. In his left brain is nothing right. So this left and right come together would be able to create an interesting pattern. So this is on linguistics. This is another area which you can explore in your human speech. Now this is all about materials, how we put them together to make it work, right? So finally, on this marriage, we say sometimes give your partner some pleasant surprise, right? So obviously in humor, we need to give them surprises as well. Okay? One of the surprises I heard was that this couple went into this museum appreciating all the paintings. And there was one painting kind of featuring a lady almost with only the fake leaves. And the husband was obviously very obsessed with that. He was standing there for almost 5 minutes. The wife was getting a bit impatient. And then the wife stepped next to her other half and started appreciating the same painting for a while. And then she said to her other half, "Dear, shall we come back in autumn when the leaves fall?" So these, I believe, are very, very good humor, right? These are really good humor which you can learn from them. So all these are examples. Now you probably say, "Talis, it's only 10 minutes into our humorous workshop. So what are we going to do next? So how would you like me to proceed with?" I would like to share, oh, by the way, surprise is something like that, right? This is what surprise means. Big surprise. You like that? Yeah. Alright, or small surprise. Just a kind of magnify. If all these are really too much for you, sweet surprise. We ready, okay? Sweet surprise. Alright, this is me. Alright. Okay. This is me. That's why this is a surprise, right? Alright. So, if I may share with you how I came up with my speech, I think it was 2 years ago. This particular humorous speech in Achievers. I delivered a speech in Achievers. And if I can walk you through the journey of me preparing that speech, and let's go over all the tools I use in the speech and see how that would help you to work out your speech. Would that be okay? Okay. So first of all, for those who do not understand this old boil old lotus, because Peter, you probably don't know boil lotus. Okay, it's a Chinese saying of how you courting with the old ladies. Obviously, the young guys courting old ladies. All right, old lotus means old ladies. Okay, so would that make sense to the English-speaking population here who do not understand about this? Would that be okay? Let's see, Renee. Okay, courting. You're not sure, right? So the very first thing is, I never intended to present this speech. It was over the usual Achievers after meeting dinner table that a guy called Ron, who do not know Ron. Ron is a young guy in this club, kind of very flirty looking, and he actually very flirty. So he happened to be the contest chair, or contest whoever, chairman. And he threatened me, he said, "Talis, tomorrow when I introduce your speech and you, it would be Talis Wong, boil old lotus. Boil old lotus, Talis Wong." So that means what? He decided the topic for me. So you see, sometimes it would be good. If you have no idea what to speak in a humorous speech, ask one of your mentor, mentee, friends in Achievers, ask them to give you a speech title, and you work from there. Would that be okay? So this is obviously a ridiculous topic, but I've been asked to do a mission impossible. So here you go. Now, in any humorous speech, obviously it would be very important that you put people into the state very quickly in a way that they will find it interesting, all right? And they're loosen up till they're ready to laugh. So in the beginning, you may notice that people already do not understand what old lotus means. So I use a visual pop, which is a lotus that I bought from the market, a real lotus, right? I bought that with me. So what I've done here, I would expect what would make people laugh. So in the second line, boil is, so the dot means I pause over there. Boil is, boil. So somehow that would make people laugh because they would expect you to explain what boil means, but then I did not. And this is a little twist at the beginning. And I say, lotus refer, this is all very getting complicated, so let's just go lotus. And old lotus means old lotus. You see, by repeating the pattern, well, people will laugh as well. Now I'm going into the anatomy of my speech. Obviously, you may not be finding it funny, but I would like you to work with me on that because it's how we prepare a humorous speech. So, particularly good for young men, Ron, so it's said, see? Now, let's see. Are you getting that we have a double meaning here? You getting a double meaning? So, this is a mismatching. So if you can find something that can mismatch with something else, and I look very serious in talking about really boiling the old lotus in the kitchen. But then, in fact, of course, I'm implicating something else. All right, this is how it works. And I say I have good experience in boiling old lotus. Now, it could be. Right? So the whole thing is this is the kind of effect I was expecting, right? And let me share with you. And a step by finding the right old lotus. And I say finding them in the market. Now, of course, market means the market, right? But here I could mean a lot. The market means they're everywhere in the market, everywhere in the market. And I say they wear thick layer of mud, same as the lady used for facial moisturizing masks and cosmetics. And it goes without saying that they all look the same under the thick layer of mud. Now, how would that do? You know what it means, right? Okay? And I say, and relying purely on appearance will be very deceiving. So we need that kind of Steve Jobs. Now, Steve Jobs is saying, follow your heart in his very famous speech in Stanford. Now, think about it. Sometimes when we say mismatching, you say something everybody understands, they can associate. But you put it in a very different context, it will mean something else. So this is how it works. So I say the best rule is like what late Steve Jobs said, follow your heart. And so we need to look around, explore, be open-minded, decide by own gut feeling on what's most appealing. Even better, now I was demonstrating, I picked it up and I say, you are going to feel her in your hands and bring her close to you and smell her to find out more. You see, that's the way to ignite the kind of imagination in the audience of mind as to what you are saying. So that would be. How many of you have heard about my speech? Only four. Not many, right? Okay. Okay, here you go. That would be interesting. And I'm saying here, be thorough in your choosing, and once you pick her, you will be stuck with her. Now, okay. So it's important that we go by kind of short chunk of words, because once you get too long, people do not understand. So a very short chunk of what will work best in a kind of humorous speech. Now we come to the boiling the old lotus part, and I'm saying here, boiling to soften the old lotus calls for patience and focus. Again, this has double meaning, right? This is the actual boiling part. If I may refer this to the courting part, the courting of old lotus. I mean the old lady. So I start with remember no pain, no gain, and this little kind of smiley face means that I'd expect laughter there. And I went on to say, so best to start with stripping her naked. So obviously this is a bit explicit, but it really means, you know, if I'm doing it very kind of naturally in the kitchen, I'm doing it like that, right? Okay? Alright. So, and you might not know massaging the old lotus is a very effective way to soften her in the boiling. This is the story about a very famous fortune teller in Hong Kong who is now landed in prison. And he is not only a fortune teller, he knows how to massage. He's a good massager. Yeah. So in fact, this is something called association, so people can associate what it means. So talking about knowing a bit of massaging skill would be good. And then I say attend to her and turn her over frequently as may be needed, because she can be heated up very easily. So heated up has a double meaning too, right? If you do not attend to her, she will be kind of getting angry. Alright? And I say, if she's heated, you touch her, you get burned. Alright? And I specifically use this kind of planting something. This is from my bitter experience, and I must tell you. And the first time I say this, nobody laughed. But then following through, you notice that the second time you say, people will then laugh. Because you're planting something, making a pattern there. So don't boil more than one lotus at the same time. Otherwise, just asking for trouble. Alright? You're getting this, right? In fact, this week never gone beyond the club level, because I still remember when the chief judge announced the result. She said there is a good news and a bad news. The good news is nobody went overtime. The bad news is this Talis Wong had won the because the lady obviously does not quite like this particular taste, right? That kind of speech. But then, yeah, I just want to warn you that we are going a bit too risky by having that. All right, if I can quickly go over just a few of can I have 3 more minutes since the 30-minute workshop was expecting for 30 people, but that's not. Okay, now, here we go. Step 3, eating the old lotus. We say, step 3, we need to eat the old lotus. This is, boiling is only the meat, eating is the end, right? And it says here that boiling without eating doesn't make sense. I mentioned Ron's name here again. Ron, alright? Boiling without eating doesn't make sense. Mom said, never waste any food. This is the usual Chinese wisdom. And when an old lotus is ready to serve, you are ready to eat. So kind of it rhymes with each other. So this is how it works. So how to eat an old lotus? You must eat with burning passion and desire, because that's the only way, because you need the kind of saliva to keep it going, right? Okay, having good kind of digestion. And your attention is diverted. For example, hunting while eating, you may easily get choked out by the old lotus. So again, there are all the kind of double meaning in the process. All right, this is the whole intention in this speech. So here we go, and I say, you may easily get choked out by the old lotus inside you. This is from my bitter experience, and I must tell you. Now, the second time I said this, audience burst into laughter, because that is kind of echoing what I said in the previous. So something that you can plant in your speech to make things happen like that. And I said here, consume her with undivided attention until she finally leaves the body. So all the ... means that you pause it over those lines. And the pause would create the kind of human effect you like. Okay, quickly, I'm almost coming to end. Okay. And obviously, this one, no one can handle 2 lotuses at the same time. And even try mixing with other tender greener vegetables at the same time is no. Because when the old lotus is this vegetable meat in the narrow alley of your stomach, you will be the one to suffer. So those who understand this, obviously, this is to do with triangular relationship and all that, right? So this is intentionally written in this way. And I said this is from my bitter experience, and I must tell you. All right? Now, so much for that. The speech itself had tried a number of things. The very first thing is there is a matching. A matching between 2 things that was not related to each other, right? The old lotus, the real boiling old lotus thing in the kitchen, with this coating of old ladies, but then I'm matching the 2 together, right? There are a lot of twisting in it. The twisting in terms of they do not expect you to say something like that, so this is twisting part. And planting, say this particular line here, this is from my bitter experience, and I must tell you, I'm setting a pattern that will repeat itself like that, in order that will make people laugh, right? So the association, and there are a lot of room for imagination, because I did not explicitly say this is really how you handle relationships. I only talking about, if you are innocent enough, you probably would believe I'm talking about how to boil a low lotus in the kitchen, so you do not find it interesting or funny at all. So this is the whole intention of making a speech, a humorous speech. So it's a matter of that pay attention to how you can create a twist in your whatever experience you have, right? And obviously, if the people can associate from what you say, that's how the magic works. And if you play around with the words, that's one of the easiest things that you can make the humor with. And finally, leave room for imagination and of course, give them surprise. All right, this is how it works. So thank you very much. I know my time is up.
Okay, so Talis, we have a small souvenir for you. Let's match with the mismatch, right? It's not all of this, but it's a thing for you. We come back to the topic. Could you wrap it down?
Is a kind of pillow? So you guys appreciate that I gave a pillow talk?
Thank you.
The all notice is now resounding my all notice. So, ladies and gentlemen, guests, if you are not really in a hurry, please stay until the end of the meeting because we simply have just the presentations like the and general evaluation. And after that, we will have our